Are you talking about seats inside the cube where
Yes.
if
On
you
the very
open up
top, the very top of the cube, you can sit inside, and there's a secondary performance space at the top.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually have small recitals with small audiences upstairs on the cube. So you're still inside the screen on the back. It's very hard to understand actually, but we should be able to send pictures.
But
and it's not something that seems to be made. Doesn't seem to have made its way into the media, that aspect of the project.
But you know, even from that one photo that I've seen, I'm glad someone posted on Flickr. I can imagine after you walk up the stairs and then turn around, there can be a space. But I guess just to be sure, the cube when it's not I guess doing its function as a stage, it's enclosed in by 5 sides, right? The 4 sides and the top. The top is covered.
The top, there is no roof. There is no roof on it.
There's no roof on it.
The roof is open to the sky. Roof is open to the sky. So maybe I'll bring a model and I'll show you what we.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right.
Sorry, you'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, no problem, Johanna. So, Johanna, while we're waiting for Sasha, so like rain and snow and whatnot, it's going to go inside the cube then?
Well, it does to the upper level, but it won't affect the performance below on the main stage. Okay. So it would only wash the top of the. Here we go.
So this is an older model, so that represents the screen. But if you climb up the stairs, which are right here,
okay, so the
and
stairs.
you emerge on the second level, which is right there.
Okay.
So you can see that's the main stage right here, facing out. We actually have bleachers on the roof here, and this is a performance space upstairs, right?
Oh.
So that's the main stage. This is out to the park, and this is upstairs, and the screen is all around it.
The audience actually look down on the second level performing stage.
That's right. That's right. That's how it works, right?
Oh, okay.
The shape of it.
Right. Right.
The roof will provide coverage from the elements on the main stage.
Oh, okay. On the main stage, on the bottom. Right. Right.
Yeah. That's right.
Right. This actually leads to a series of questions that I have. So, this is what I read from press and some people's critique. So, rainwater. I've heard someone not liking the cube complaining that the rain was going to be redirected to the electrical area. Have you guys sorted out that problem now, or was it ever a problem?
Before we answer this and all the host of questions, the cube was scheduled to open in June because of the festivals. At that point in time, it was about 85% complete.
Oh, okay.
So, given that they're just finishing the finishing touches right now, one of which was that a lot of the items that referred to rain and the penetration of rain were not installed at the time.
Okay.
And we had to wait until the festival season finishes, which is now, in order to complete the stage. So that's just it's been installed already right now. But it's never been about, we haven't done any changes to the stage from its conceptual design, from its design really, except that it hasn't been finished. So that information was never conveyed in public.
Right, I get it.
Right, and the first season was a test run when it comes to headroom space and the way the skin retracts and so on. So we awaited the feedback. We got the feedback, and it's been fine-tuned over the last 2 weeks, actually. And I think
now nearing completion.
Yeah, they're going to be completing it this week.
Right, yeah. You mentioned the retraction. I mean, some people are complaining too low, but like you said, you can fine-tune it so it can be raised.
It's already been fine-tuned, yeah. So it's already it's now actually has been tied to the concrete, and therefore is not creating any less headroom than concrete gives you, which is actually really high.
Right, right. So the other question is obviously snow. So when the snow comes, it's going to be like enclosed in the cube and encased by the aluminum wall. Like, how is it going to go?
I think it's going to be beautiful.
It should be just beautiful. Yeah.
I'm just imagining it at Christmas time or so on, when the lights are on and there's a little bit of snow that will collect on the skin, and the light will reflect through that snow. I think the effect will be just beautiful.
But will the snow? I mean, will the snow be piling up inside and like
probably on the roof.
A little
yes.
bit, yes.
Yeah.
But the structure can certainly handle it. We've never seen as much rebar or concrete go into that small of an area before. So the structure is very strong.
Okay, the structure, if I hear you right, the concrete structure is going to be structurally able to handle the snow, and the outer skin is going to be able to hold the snow, or if it melts, it will just
snow inside.
That's right. That's right.
It will go away. Okay, well, it's good.
There'll be wind blowing through that space too, because of the skin is very permeable. So some of the snow, as we get in Winnipeg, most of the time is very very fluffy because it's so cold here. That it won't probably most of it permanently stay on the roof.
Right. Before I forget, I want to ask a few questions about the skin. So the skin, they are made up of. Are they made out of individual elements where if you pull the string up and it's going to change the angle, and is that how is it going to work?
No, they're stationary. They're weaved together with cables. But the individual pieces are just, if you can imagine slicing salami sort of on a diagonal, that's how the skin pieces are done. So they're extrusion of, well, Sasa's just bringing the pieces.
So the cable is actually holding the pieces in place.
That's right.
And you're not moving.
See the hole for the cable? So the cable runs through that hole. Right, and then they're connected in that intricate pattern.
Right.
But because of the cables, it's obviously allowed to be flexible, and that's why it can amalgamate itself, or sorry, can be malleable enough that it can be straight down and be rigid as a cube, and then also be pulled back.
Right. So are the individual elements identical, or like when I look at the picture? Oh, so they are actually identical.
They are identical. So you can see that when we turn them the same way, they're the same. But then the way that the skin gets worked around. They create a much more rich pattern.
Oh, right. See, this is what I don't get from the photo. When I look at the photo, they look like individual, distinct, like there are at least 2 or 3 different types, but there's just one.
It's all the same. It's all the same, yeah.
All the same. Right.
20,000 all the same.
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry, Sasa?
20,000.
20,000.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. And by the fixed position, when the projection is done, then like the projector is inside, right? And right. Okay. So I guess because the projection is not going to be center, it's like you just need to angle it right so when it will project like it's lined up in a square or whatever.
Exactly.
Right. Well, okay, cool. So all right. I'm glad to hear the clarification, and I'm going to definitely emphasize that when people had the complaint about the rain and whatnot, before the cube was completely finished. I mean, of course, if you want to use the thing before it's completely done, well, there is bound to be some issues, right? Yeah.
So we hope that gets clarified, and then we can concentrate on the dialogue back and forth about whether a modern piece of architecture is appropriate for the historic area, and that's the discussion we definitely welcome, and we think it's healthy to debate over that.
Right. Talking, like hearing the mayor, I think the mayor too, right? The mayor saying disparaging thing about your work. It's not fun.
Right. Well, mayor was very happy at the opening ceremony, so we'll get back on track with
right, exactly. Get back to that the opening of it.
That's right.
Mindset. Right. So when I look at your website with all your work, there's so much that I want to talk about. But I guess because of your time, I don't want to, like maybe in future, I probably would love to talk more. But today I want to talk to you guys, maybe get you guys to say a few words and your key inspiration of the following projects. So the first one is Project 155, the Sunspot. Can you talk a few words and maybe your key inspiration in Sunspot?
I think the key inspiration that was our artist that we collaborated with, Eva Tarsha. She's a very well-known local Winnipeg artist here, and she has recently been interested in a theme around a dot, and this is really where it started from, the sunspot being sort of that very
a dot in the landscape.
Yeah, a
right?
dot in the landscape. And then when we think about, again, Winnipeg climate and these ice huts, which this was part of, being something that warms you up not only physically, but in terms of the concept of it. So sun being the warmest element out there that exists, and we wanted to somehow create that together with her. So I think that would be the
that's where the inspiration was, and the idea of sun as a source of all the heat on the earth was what we tried to replicate in there. So without providing any warming capability in the hut that we've designed, except that it actually did protect you from the wind.
Yep.
The idea of an orange color and psychology of it was what provided warmth.
Oh, okay, so there's no external heat source. So people get their warmth by being close by the sunspot, or they actually go hide inside?
They go hide inside.
Yeah, they sort of crawl up below it. It's about 3 feet off the ground, and have to bend over a little bit to get in there. And then you poke your head into the sunspot, and all of a sudden you're in a completely different atmosphere. It's actually was very neat to be inside. It changed.
How big is the hole itself that you get?
18 feet was the full diameter of the space, and I think about 5 feet at the base that you can get in.
That's right. So you could have a group of people sitting there.
Exactly. That's the reason, right? So a group of people can go in. Right. Wow, that's really neat. So the second one is Project 27, Welcome Place. And I know there's special meaning with Sasa. So can you guys talk a little bit about Welcome Place?
Go ahead.
How do you know that? How do you know it has a special meaning? Does it say that on the website or no?
No, not your website, but hey, I do my research. Don't respect me as a interviewer. One of the article actually, that I read, explained.
Right, fair enough. Well, it has a special meaning. We didn't get it because of that, by the way. It just came to our office through a different source, of course. But it was quite interesting to go back in your memory and think about what it actually means and what it meant for us that immigrated to Canada under the similar circumstances. So the project is just complete right now. It still looks very raw on the website, but it's just been built. So we're going to be updating the website within the next few weeks as soon as a couple finishing touches are done. And I think it turned out fairly well and fairly interesting and exciting, actually. The project, it was a fairly tight or very tight site for the program that client required to locate on the site. So we had to be quite innovative in terms of how we respond to that, and yet do something that psychologically responds to the nature of the users and their mindset at the time, as well as fit into the area of the city. It's located in a relatively sort of post-war established neighborhood that's on a decline in terms of the population and the quality of living, because the houses haven't been upkept and so on. So the building is supposed to become a bit of a generator or a catalyst for redevelopment of the area on one hand, but on the other hand, we didn't want to create a fortress from which the people do not take part in what's happening around the building. So if you look at the building, there are several public areas in the building, and that's the entire concept of the building, which is this interwoven public space that includes everything from the courtyard to all the corridors and stairs, which are all painted in very vibrant and strong colors, to the lounges of every floor,
before you go further,
and the rooftop. Yeah.
And maybe it's important to say that this is a refugee welcome center for new refugees to Canada. And the big shift here is that for the first time now, they have both their temporary residences and the support services under the same roof. Just to
so yeah, about 40% of the building is support services and 60% is residential or is housing. So then we've actually gone through or explored the idea of prospect and refuge, creating very small openings in the residences, which is the all little square windows that face outward, that provide a shelter, if you wish, or a sheltered environment for people that stay inside. But then they're encouraged to congregate in the lounges, and lounges are placed on every floor, and that's what the color represents on the renderings that you're seeing there. So then in those places, they get to see each other. They also get to be seen by the people on the street, because those places have very large windows, etc. And then those spaces sort of become a intermediary space at which you get used to the Canadian streetscape, if you wish, and Canadian life around it, and then you're encouraged to go outside. Right. So that's the idea behind the project.